Hold up, Browns Nation. What if I told you that everything we think we know about Cleveland's quarterback situation is about to get flipped on its head? What if the front office isn't just sitting around hoping Joe Flacco can mentor some rookies into franchise players? What if they're actually cooking up something that could send shockwaves through the entire AFC North and leave our division rivals scrambling to keep up? Because here's what nobody's talking about. While everyone's debating whether Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur can develop into something special, Cleveland's front office might be eyeing a move that's so bold, so calculated, that it could completely rewrite the narrative of this franchise overnight. See, here's the thing about the Browns that separates us from every other team in this league. We don't just sit back and hope things work out. We take swings. Big swings. And right now, with our quarterback room looking like a veteran mentor, two promising but unproven rookies, and a whole lot of question marks, the perfect storm is brewing for something massive. Let me paint you the real picture here. Joe Flacco, respect to the veteran, but let's call it what it is. He's not our future. He's our bridge, our safety net while we figure out what comes next. Dillon Gabriel, drafted 94th overall from Oregon, has shown flashes, sure, but he's still trying to prove he can handle the speed and complexity of NFL defenses week in and week out. And Shedeur. The kid's got athleticism and potential, but he's a 144th overall pick who's still in that crucial development phase where anything could happen. Now here's where it gets interesting. Sources close to the situation are suggesting that Cleveland isn't just hoping one of these pieces falls into place. They're actively exploring options that could completely transform this offense, and one name that keeps surfacing in these conversations is Anthony Richardson. Think about this for a second. Anthony Richardson, 21 years old, former first-round pick, a physical specimen who brings the kind of rare combination of size, speed, and arm talent that you literally cannot teach. The guy who had NFL scouts drooling over his potential coming out of Florida. The same player who's currently sitting in Indianapolis while the Colts try to figure out if they know what they're doing with him. And here's the beautiful part. According to recent reports from Sports Illustrated, Cleveland is being mentioned as a prime landing spot for Richardson. Why? Because our quarterback situation is exactly the kind of scenario where a young, high-upside talent like Richardson could thrive. Let's break down why this makes perfect sense. Kevin Stefanski has proven he knows how to develop quarterbacks. He's shown he can create offensive schemes that maximize a player's strengths while minimizing their weaknesses. Now imagine what he could do with a quarterback who brings Richardson's physical tools to the table. We're talking about a guy who can extend plays with his legs, launch deep bombs downfield, and create something out of nothing when the pocket breaks down. The Colts, they're still trying to figure out their identity, still trying to determine if Richardson fits their vision. But Cleveland, we've got a clear direction, a proven coaching staff, and an offensive line that's been steadily improving. We've got weapons that are ready to be utilized by someone who can truly unlock their potential. Here's what makes this even more intriguing. Richardson wouldn't necessarily cost us a fortune. This isn't a situation where we'd have to mortgage our entire future. This could be one of those smart, calculated moves where we acquire a player with elite potential at a reasonable price because another team hasn't figured out how to maximize what they have. And think about the ripple effects this would create. The AFC North is already one of the most competitive divisions in football. Cincinnati's got Joe Burrow, Baltimore's got Lamar Jackson, and Pittsburgh's still trying to figure out their quarterback situation. If Cleveland lands a dual-threat quarterback like Richardson and Kevin Stefanski unleashes that kind of versatility in our offensive system, we're not just competing in this division, we're potentially taking it over. Picture this offense for a moment. Richardson behind an improving offensive line with the ability to hurt defenses both through the air and on the ground. Play-action passes that actually freeze linebackers because they know he can run. Deep shots that keep safeties honest. The kind of dynamic, unpredictable attack that gives defensive coordinators nightmares. But here's what I love most about this potential move. It's not just about the talent. It's about the message it sends. It tells the rest of the league that Cleveland is done with the quarterback carousel. Done with hoping and praying that someone develops into what we need. We're taking control of our destiny, and we're willing to make the bold moves necessary to get there. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Richardson's transition to the NFL hasn't been completely smooth. There have been growing pains, moments where you can see he's still developing. But that's exactly the point. Sometimes the greatest success stories come from players who are viewed as projects, players who needed the right situation and the right coaching to reach their potential. And let's be honest, Cleveland might be that perfect situation. We've got a coaching staff that specializes in development. We've got an organizational culture that embraces hard work and grit. We've got a fan base that's hungry for success and willing to support a young quarterback through the inevitable ups and downs of development. The timing couldn't be better either. The Browns have been building something special over the past few seasons. Smart draft picks, strategic free agency moves, developing young talent while adding veteran leadership where needed. But everything we've been building has been leading to this moment, finding that quarterback who can take us from good to great, from playoff contender to legitimate championship threat. And here's the reality check for everyone watching. The window for making moves like this doesn't stay open forever. Right now, Richardson might be available because Indianapolis is still trying to figure out their direction. But what happens if he shows flashes of that elite potential and suddenly becomes untouchable? What happens if another team swoops in and makes the move we should have made? The Browns front office knows this. They understand that in today's NFL, having a dynamic quarterback isn't just an advantage, it's a necessity. It's the difference between winning your division and watching from home. It's the difference between a playoff appearance and a deep playoff run that could end with a Lombardi trophy. Before we dive deeper into what this could mean for our future, make sure you're hitting that like button and subscribing to Browns Breakout. We're building something special here, and you don't want to miss the latest developments as this story unfolds. Every like and subscription helps us keep bringing you the inside information that matters most to Browns Nation. So what's the next step in all this? Cleveland's front office continues evaluating every option on the table. They're monitoring the trade market, they're developing the players they have, and they're staying ready to pounce when the right opportunity presents itself. Because that's what championship organizations do. They stay prepared for the moments that can define a franchise. The beautiful thing about this entire situation is that Cleveland holds all the cards. We don't have to rush into anything. We can be patient, we can be strategic, and we can make sure that when we do make a move, it's the right move for our long-term success. But if Richardson or another high-potential quarterback becomes available at the right price, you can bet that Cleveland won't hesitate to pull the trigger. Think about where this franchise has been and where it's headed. We've endured years of quarterback uncertainty, years of hoping that the next guy would be the answer. But now, for the first time in a long time, we're in a position of strength. We've got a proven coaching staff, a talented roster, and a front office that isn't afraid to make the big moves when they matter most. The AFC North better take notice, because if Cleveland pulls off a move for someone like Richardson, the entire balance of power in this division shifts overnight. Cincinnati and Baltimore have had their fun running this division for the past few seasons, but those days might be numbered. And for Browns fans, this is exactly the kind of moment we've been waiting for. The moment when our front office stops playing it safe and starts playing to win championships. The moment when we stop hoping other teams make mistakes and start making the moves that put us in position to capitalize on our own excellence. So keep your eyes on the trade wire, keep monitoring every report, and stay ready for what could be a franchise-altering announcement. Because something tells me that Cleveland's quarterback situation is about to get a whole lot more interesting, and when it does, the ripple effects are going to be felt throughout the entire NFL. The foundation is there, the coaching is there, the determination is there. Now it's time to find that final piece that turns all of this potential into championship reality. And if the Browns front office has their way, that piece might be coming sooner than anyone expects. What do you think, Browns Nation? Are you ready for Cleveland to make the bold move that could change everything? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you think we should go all in on Richardson, or if you believe in developing what we have. Either way, make sure you stay tuned, because this story is far from over, and neither are we.